Hello, my name is Brittany Savage and I will be presenting my bulletin board project. For this lesson, I was teaching a 4th grade class the concept of main idea and supporting details. I used the story Horn Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss to give this idea to the class. My title is Ideas, Details, and Elephants 2. And I chose the story Dr. Seuss's Horn Hears a Who because it has a great idea that I really wanted to teach my students. The concept that I found to be the main idea in this story was a person is a person no matter how small, which ties together great with the definition of main idea because it tells the reader what the text is about and it's the most important part of the text. And in the story we see that Horton is the one that realizes that there are little people on the speck of dust, and although everyone else around him thinks he's crazy, he still decides to respect and protect the people of Whoville. And I wanted to teach my students that a person is a person, no matter how small, because they're going to be faced with situations where they have the opportunity whether or not to respect people if they have differences. And I thought that was a great story to teach them that character point. I decided to put main idea and supporting details on the middle of the board because I figured that if the term and definition were in the center, it would be the point that they would look at first. And I made it bold enough so that the people from the front to the back of the room could see it clearly. With the theme being Dr. Seuss on my bulletin board, I decided to make the center of my board red and white in order to represent the Cat in the Hat, which for the lesson I made an actual paper hat that I wore throughout part of the lesson, and the students seemed to really enjoy that. I think it just added a little extra something to present the story to the class and to get them a little bit more excited and interested in what I was teaching. On the board I have this red, white, and blue theme throughout, and I have this border which actually has Dr. Seuss characters on it, and I actually bought this border prior to knowing what I was teaching and prior to knowing what my lesson would be on, which I think was perfect just because I had no idea I was going to be teaching on Dr. Seuss, let alone whether or not I should buy this border. Thankfully I had it in my room. So as you can see on the board, I have 6 different pockets on both sides. And I decided to split the entire class up into 3 groups, and this was for when I did my independent practice. For the independent practice, I read a portion of the story Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss, and I read the portion of the story to the class, and I gave them the opportunity to find out what the main idea and the supporting details of the story were. What I did was, for the main idea, I had each group write on individual cutouts their main idea on the back of this red and white Cat in the Hat, and I had each group place their hats in these pockets on the left, and then for the right side of the board I had these stars that I had them write their supporting details on, and then I also had them put them in the pockets. And I think it was a great way that you could see the different groups, their different ideas, and it was also a great way for me to evaluate the students by their group, whether or not they were, 1, working together, and 2, if they really understood the concept of main idea and supporting details. And I came to find that all of the groups seemed to do really well on understanding this concept. I think that for 4th graders, it was the perfect time and the perfect spot to be teaching this, and I think they really understood the lesson. I think they did a great job working together as a group. There was a few different ideas on what the supporting details were, but everyone had the exact same main idea with varying details. But I was very proud of them for understanding this concept, and I think the Dr. Seuss thing was a great idea just because it was something that they were interested in, and the school actually had done a Dr. Seuss week a few weeks prior to me teaching the lesson. So they were kind of already interested in Dr. Seuss, and I think Horn Hears a Who is such an excellent book, and I thought it was a great way to tie in this concept. I hope you enjoyed looking at my board, and I hope that one day I can incorporate this in my very own classroom. Thank you for listening and have a great day.